Hey there, welcome to The Uplift. We've got a great show for you this week. Among our cast of characters, a beloved therapy dog that has become a Boston icon and the huge honor he received after battling cancer. Plus the big yellow candy store with a sign you cannot miss, and the reason it's being quite so bold. And the NBA player giving up his entire salary to make a difference in his home country. There he is. Plus a birthday surprise for Jennifer Garner. Which performer made this celebrity star-struck? Look at that face. Plus our most heartwarming videos of the week. You're watching The Uplift. Hey, I'm Tony DeCopel. Welcome to The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, we promise. And we're going to start with a 50th birthday surprise for Jennifer Garner. Now, you might think it's hard to surprise a celebrity who has no doubt met countless stars, and it is hard. But Jennifer Garner's friends found a way to shock even her. It started this way. They showed her a video. Take a look. A video of Donny Osmond. Only he wasn't just in her phone. He was right behind her.
Get it off of my shoulder.
Clearly, Garner is a huge Donny Osmond fan, got to sing with him, and he, of course, presented her with that cake, which, if you looked closely, had another element of nostalgia on it. It said 13 going on 50. That's a play on words because Garner starred in that 2004 movie, 13 going on 30. By the way, that movie totally holds up. So does that video. All right, now take a look at this viral video. A mom in Utah looked out her window and saw this unbelievably sweet scene. That is her 8-year-old son teaching her 4-year-old daughter how to ride a bike. She had been trying to teach her earlier in the day, but it took the big brother to come along with the final help she needed. Look at that. You never forget once you learn. I love him running alongside her. Very sweet. All right, moving on again this morning. Take a look at this. Miguel from Colombia moved to the U.S. to study neurosurgery, and he had been working at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, but he didn't know where he was going to go for his residency, which is part of the process of becoming a doctor. When he received the news, he had to have his coworkers open it first.
We have Miguel's match result. I won't play any tricks on him because he's too nice, and he's been a really good research tech for all of us. So I think you're going to be happy.
Cedars-Sinai.
So as you can see, he found out that he was staying right there at Cedars-Sinai with his friends and co-residents. Clearly a special unit there. You can see more viral videos by following The Uplift at facebook.com/upliftnews. And now we turn to a miracle that came out of a tragedy. A fire that burned for 4 days destroyed Chicago's Antioch Missionary Baptist Church over Easter weekend. But take a look at the blue mural inside the church, virtually untouched. CBS Chicago reports that the mural was discovered on Easter Sunday. Look at that picture, on Easter Sunday. And the pastor said that while the building where they worshiped was incinerated and came down all around them, there is still that wall standing with a picture of Jesus on it. And, quote, as long as he's living, we got to keep going. The tragedy also led to a moment of kindness. A local funeral home stepped up and hosted Easter service instead of the church. Lead pastor Gerald Dew said their faith says joy comes in the morning. And while they wept over the fire on Friday, they did indeed find joy on Easter Sunday. The resilient congregation, of course they do, they plan to rebuild. All right, moving on. At this year's Boston Marathon, 75-year-old Val Rogaszewski took on the race 50 years after she first ran the marathon. She was one of 8 women who ran it back in 1972. That was the first year women were allowed to participate. Brogaszewski says she met the other 7 women at the starting line with all eyes on them as the very first women to legally compete in the marathon all those years ago. Well, the Minnesota native ran the 2022 race in another group of 8. Her team was made up of women who have made a powerful impact on their respective communities. 50 years after that first race, about 14,000 other women ran the race, including her 2 daughters and a cousin. Coming up, another Boston Marathon icon, this one a furry friend who received a huge honor ahead of the race and during the race. A boy whose dream was fulfilled when he got to become a National Geographic explorer. Who wouldn't want to be that? Plus, how this elementary school in Michigan is helping a former classmate whose family moved to Poland and started taking in Ukrainian refugees. Do stay with us. A lot of kids want to be a firefighter, maybe an astronaut when they grow up, but a little boy from Connecticut wanted to use his knowledge of animals in whatever his future career would be, and that career he wished would be National Geographic explorer. Big deal. And at just 8 years old, he got to go out in the field and actually do the job. Caitlin O'Kane has more.
Oben Birmingham is an explorer who loves animals. Sure, he's only 8 years old, but he's very wise beyond his years and knowledgeable about nature.
I've always loved animals since I was not even 1. Me and my dad used to look at the birds and squirrels early in the morning. I want to be a naturalist for National Geographic.
But for about 6 months, Oben battled cancer. He was in and out of the hospital, going through treatment.
Well, I had Burkitt's, leukemia, and lymphoma, and it was really rough.
He was in rough state and did a few stints in the ICU. At one point, he couldn't even stand December of 2020 because the chemo was so harsh. He went to hell and back, but, here he is, bouncing back, good as new these days.
Good as new and trying new things, Oben got to fulfill a dream, go out in the field with National Geographic. Thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He knew for such a big wish, it may take a while to coordinate.
When Oben asked to go out in the field with National Geographic Explorer, they said, "Are you willing to wait?" Remember?
And I was like, yes.
National Geographic photographer and explorer Carlton Ward volunteered to take Oben out with him in Florida.
I mean, for a few minutes, I had no words.
Yeah, you were stunned and you were happy to have waited, right?
I was like, my face was just like that. I was just happy.
Ward gave Oben a taste of what it's like to photograph some of Earth's wildest life.
We saw a lot of alligators, we saw wild turkey, we saw wild hogs, and on the camera trap that he set up, there was a male and a female Florida panther.
Yeah, they hadn't seen that before, right? It was the first camera trap we checked.
Mm-hmm. I think that was brand new to see in any camera trap.
With this experience, Oben may have a job waiting for him at National Geographic one day. And as for his favorite animal,
a peregrine falcon. And they're the fastest animal that scientists have ever found that has lived. And it can go 250 miles an hour. Yeah, I know a lot of strange and crazy animals.
Yeah, you sure do. That's a sweet story of recovery and resilience. Way to go. National Geographic explorer at 8 years old. All right, when a 4th grader named LJ moved to Poland with her family, they were compelled to help Ukrainian refugees and started taking them in. After her former classmates back in Michigan found out about it, they wanted to pitch in too in their own way. CBS Detroit's April Morton has the story.
On a Monday schedule for Miss Rocco's 4th grade class at Bailey Lake Elementary in Clarkston, there's science, Spanish, and a special Zoom with LJ.
Hello.
LJ is a former classmate who moved to Poland this past February after her dad received a job there. Her fellow classmates were beyond excited to see her.
Pretty exciting because a lot of us haven't seen her since she moved.
But this was not just a reunion to catch up. The kids had some exciting news to share with LJ.
I donated $20 in cash.
When the school learned of LJ's family taking Ukrainian refugees into their home and supplying whatever they needed with their own money, they knew they had to help out.
The coin drive just kind of came up between me and some of the PTA members, and it happened quick.
Starting today, students school-wide brought in bags, even buckets of coins, filling the containers not only with coins, but with love for complete strangers, something the Benson family knows all about.
I want to just take one or two, you know what I mean? You feel like a need to, I've got this ability to help people. I have families who want to donate money. How can I help?
OT says it started with just 2 families, but since they moved to Poland in late February, he's welcomed over 30 Ukrainian refugees into his home, a home that's already occupied by 7 of his own family members. They say it's rewarding, but taking some getting used to.
Now you're trying to grasp the understanding of 2 different cultures at once, and it's mind-boggling at the same time, but it's so much fun, and it's a whole new experience that you didn't know that you were going to get.
The family also didn't expect so much support from back here in Michigan.
And Maya brought in over $100.
Whoa.
The coin drive will take place here all week, with funds going directly to the refugees to help out with airline food, clothing, and other costs. For now, the students signing off with LJ. But this experience will be with them for a very long time.
It's a lot of change in every meaning of the word. All right, coming up, the big yellow candy store with an eye-catching sign, and it's not about the sweets inside the store, but what's happening on the road outside it. Also, the NBA star selflessly giving up his entire salary, and the reason behind that $1.3 million loss is actually a big, big win for others. Stay with us. If you're driving along Route 169 in Minnesota, you might spot this bright yellow building, and if you don't, you may need to take a break from driving. It's an iconic candy store with an important message. CBS Minnesota's Adam Duxter has the reason behind that bold yellow sign.
For more than 40 years, Minnesota's largest candy store has used its location to help draw in its customers.
My father always said there's good locations for growing and good locations for selling.
And while the spot along 169 means tens of thousands of people will pass by each day, owner Robert Wagner says lately, those people are going way too fast.
I'm not going to say it's road rage, but we experience the people really driving fast around us, and it's just shoo, 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 flying by us.
A problem not just for him, but for the local sheriff, too.
I think in this last week we had somebody over, around 90. Traffic deaths have been going up the last 2 years, and speeding is a major factor we're seeing.
So the two drew up an idea for a larger-than-life way.
Get your attention, boom, hey, what's that?
To say 2 simple words. A message that has since gone viral.
We were hoping to impact our local community, and now we're seeing across the nation people are sharing the story and talking about it.
And while the Scott County squad car next to the sign isn't even staffed, the threat of those 3 simple letters have proven it's working.
Did you just see that? Did you know there's a squad car sitting out by the big sign?
A sign not only to drop the speed, but also one that candy and cops can mix.
I think sometimes law enforcement gets put in a box of it's simply enforcement or transactional, and really it is community-based. And as a county sheriff, I embrace that.
Definitely a good idea to slow down. Maybe also a good idea to forget you just heard there's no one in that cop car. There is a sign, though. All right, we do move on. About 5 million people have fled Ukraine, and a vast majority of those people are women and children. Many can't bring anything with them to remind them of home. Well, one family found a way to help children express themselves during that difficult time, a time of change. Our Roxana Saberi has the story.
It's a Otta. It's a Felicity.
Felicity! When Russia's invasion of Ukraine forced the Biyombo family to flee Kyiv in February,
it's a Star.
6-year-old Sonia took the toys she could carry and drew what she left behind.
Is that your cat?
Yes.
Her art inspired her parents to collect drawings from other Ukrainian kids and post them online for everyone to see.
Also, we know that children want to have appreciation.
To feel them like not alone, but a part of a bigger community.
They feel connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
From age 5 and up, each child tells a story.
Say like Maria, 11 years old. She's very talented.
Arina, 11 years old. She drew a woman soldier.
Yeah, sniper woman. Yeah, it's her mother.
Her mother is a sniper.
Yeah.
Some pictures show real war, bombs, missiles.
Killed soldiers.
It's not suitable for kids.
The pictures portray innocence stolen and prayers for protection and peace.
Maybe it's very hard for them to speak about it. They don't know what's going on.
The drawing helps them express their emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's created like a parallel world, in which you could feel safe.
Artem and Nastya, who are still searching for safety in town after town across Ukraine, say encouraging kids to draw can also help parents like them.
Sending them to sit somewhere and turn on their fantasy and put it on the paper give to the parents also an opportunity to recharge the battery.
And they hope these creations will show the world the strength and suffering of their nation.
We hope that people looking on these pictures can feel compassion to support kids, to support Ukraine.
And to stop the war.
Because when the war ends, they say, it's Ukraine's children who will rebuild their country.
Wow, there's a lot there. All right, coming up, the NBA player who is giving up his entire salary to make a difference in his home country. And the therapy dog who has become a Boston Marathon icon, and now it's official. We'll have more on the honor he received for being an inspiration to so many. Many, if not most, NBA players make at least $1 million a year, but one player on the Phoenix Suns isn't keeping a cent of his paycheck for himself this season. Jamie Yuccas spoke to Bismack Biyombo about why he's letting go of $1.3 million in salary.
In a league loaded with millionaires, Phoenix Suns center Bismack Biyombo is one in a million.
When I'm set on something, nobody's really, especially like something like this, nobody's changing my mind.
The 11-year NBA veteran is giving up his entire salary this season, $1.3 million, to build a hospital in his home country, the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
What did your agent say?
Okay, I get to work.
Really?
Yes.
He wasn't like, you're crazy?
No.
Biyombo has already established schools and basketball academies, but he feels the most urgent need is health care.
There's only one doctor for 10,000 people in the Congo?
Isn't it crazy?
That, mind-boggling.
One doctor for every 10,000. If your loved one go into the hospital, they have a higher chance of dying than surviving. It really breaks my heart.
Grief that is also deeply personal. His father died of COVID last summer in the Congo, but not before instilling in him the value of public service.
I wanted to do something for him that will continue to service people, but most important, save lives.
Hope and inspiration from a basketball giant with an even bigger heart.
That's a crazy good story. And $1.3 million in the NBA is not even that much. So the fact that he's giving it all away, powerful. All right, the 126th Boston Marathon took place earlier this month, and one very familiar spectator showed up as usual. That would be Spencer, the therapy dog. He was on the sidelines taking selfies with runners who were willing to stop mid-race to meet the pup. Spencer has been attending the marathon for years and has grown quite the following, but this year was extra special. Caitlin O'Kane has more.
Spencer is not just a golden retriever. He's not just a therapy dog. He's the official dog of the Boston Marathon. Spencer's journey to this prestigious title starts in 2015, when he and his owner, Richard Powers, showed up to cheer on runners. They've appeared every year since, and Spencer's grown quite the following.
I mean, when I walk the dog, people just stop and, is this Spencer? They act like they're meeting Sandra Bullock.
During the marathon, runners actually stop in their tracks to take selfies with the dog. The line sometimes growing 20 runners long. But in 2020, the world shut down, and so did the marathon. And Spencer was diagnosed with a tumor. His owners were worried, but Spencer is a fighter.
He got the care that he needed, survived. In 2021, he was back on the course, and it was really kind of a miracle. And that really hit home to a lot of people.
Unfortunately, vets recently caught another tumor, this one cancerous, and Spencer began chemotherapy. Rich didn't think he'd make it out to the marathon this year.
Miraculously, he's still here with us, and even an even bigger miracle, he was strong enough to go to the marathon.
After recovering, Spencer was back to work, not just at the marathon, but as a therapy dog with his companion, Penny, visiting anyone who needs a pick-me-up.
He's a gift. He's a gift to us. And we're very lucky to have him. And we figure he's too good not to share, so we want to share him with as many people as we possibly can.
In fact, Spencer was visiting a local high school the morning he got whisked away in a limo to the Fairmont Comely Plaza near the finish line of the marathon, where he was named the official dog of the 126th Boston Marathon by the Boston Athletic Association. It was a surprise, but well-earned.
He just represents hope, is the best way to describe him, and inspiration. And he just kind of represents the regular guy, who's fighting the fight and just, plugging away and getting by. Everybody out there has a Spencer story, whether it's a person or a dog or a cat or themselves, they're going some personal struggle, then they're just doing the best they can. And then people can identify that. And when they see him just kind of pushing forward and getting the job done, it just gives people a lot of hope.
Rich said Spencer probably doesn't know how special he is. But one runner at the race this year wanted to show him with a big token of gratitude.
We were taking all the selfies. One of the runners asked if he had a medal, and I said no. So he took his medal out of his pocket and put it on Spencer. And he gave me a fist pump and said, "Keep doing what you're doing." And then he left. So he gave Spencer his medal from 2021. And I have no idea who the guy is. But he gave it to Spencer. So Spencer has the Boston Marathon medal.
Spencer receives countless messages thanking him for the hope he spreads at the marathon and beyond.
He does make a difference. It's like people would reach out and it was like, I can't believe I'm crying over a dog I never met. It's like that. It's just amazing. He's an amazing dog. He's very, very special. And we're very lucky to have him. Very lucky.
That's a great story. Also appreciate that Spencer slept through the entire interview. Super unimpressed that he's now a star on national TV. That's our show. I hope it brightened your day and lifted you up. It certainly did mine. We'll see you back next week with more good news. I guarantee it.